What are the keys to ultimate hook writing? In this video, I'm going to explain 3 main secrets and everything else that you need to know about hook writing. The first minute of this video takes a shit on the chest of all your excuses to not focus on hooks in your songs. So if you want to get straight to the secrets, by all means skip to like 1 minute in, because the last thing I want to do is waste your time. I don't like singing. Hip-hop is actually reaching a point where if you have a message and you want it to be heard, you have to have some singing on your tracks. It's easier on the ears of the average person. No big rapper doesn't sing on at least one of their tracks. Most of the ones who actually don't on any will have someone else sing. What if I can't find it? Look harder. Search every single social media platform. Look in the hashtags. Look beyond hip-hop if you have to. Look for pop singers, R&B singers. Inspiration and collaborations are everywhere. You just have to open yourself up to them. Hooks are for sellouts. Hooks are something that you could argue sellouts use, but I'm damn fucking well willing to bet that unless you're so underground that you only listen to local artists, your favorite rappers of all time had ridiculously catchy, repetitive songs. If you think your favorite rappers are sellouts, I want you to pause this video, go to the corner, and contemplate what went wrong in your life that led you to think such a thing. Alright, now that we cleaned the babies and gave them pacifiers, let's get to the good stuff. Number 1 is study and model other hooks. It's important when you're starting out to study and try for yourself what successful people do and have done. Even people you hate. A lot of artists don't like having to do this, but that just proves they're doing the right thing for their future selves. Remember, success leaves clues. I can't stress that enough. What helped me is writing remixes that legitimately copy the structure of the original songs. But nobody can fucking tell that I'm doing it. Nobody ever says, "Oh bro, you totally bit the structure of the original song." They don't fucking care about that. They just care that it's dope and it slaps. So try it for yourself. If you want some ideas, I will link in the description some of my remixes and you can listen and see for yourself how fucking similar the structures are. I listen to my remixes and it's very hard for me to imagine that another artist made a song with that beat before. That sounds strange, but I guess you'll have to check them out for yourself. The links are in the description. Maybe it'll inspire you. Find things you do and don't like that all your favorite hooks seem to have in common. Finding the structures and congruencies, the things that make every hook catchy, where the rhymes are in each bar, how they repeat one thing before switching it to another, etc. If that shit is just too far out of your zone, you can also listen to your favorite hooks and write shit down. Take notes if you have to. What are you willing to risk? What are you willing to sacrifice? If taking notes is too big of a thing, I want you to pause this video and go to the corner and contemplate what went wrong in your life that caused you to think such a thing over time. Okay, are you ready to take notes? Just observe shit. Be like, well, he has a melody, you hear 8 bars in a row, and then there's a bridge, and it's not that repetitive, but you do hear it after every hook, and after a few listens, you begin to pick up a couple words and memorize them. And after between 5 and 10, it pops up in your head. And hook writing, I promise, maybe depending on the song, can be very fucking different from verse writing. You could have bars for days, but that doesn't necessarily mean you can piss out hooks everywhere and claim your territory on every song. For example, I've also noticed simplicity. Less is more. You know, simplicity has been said to be the ultimate form of sophistication. Look at the second verse of This Is America. There's simplicity, there are barely any fucking lyrics, but there's meaning behind it. Look at Taylor Swift. She always has one-note melodies, like the one in Out of the Woods. Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out? It's the same fucking note. Again, success leaves clues. If you don't like someone at the top, find the ingredients that get them the results and put that into your own formula. Test, and fucking try different things, because those things are what you can use as leverage to get to your higher playing field. And you don't need a songwriting team to do this. Maybe you could have like a one-note melody and break it off at the last note. Maybe you can change a few notes here and there. Think about Sit Down, Be Humble. It's a good message that a lot of people arguably need to hear. This was like one of the most repetitive hooks of all 2017. Speaking of which, that's something else that I noticed. Repetition. Take a song like Havana. That's what that's called, right? Havana. Na 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 na. The stupidest, most basic syllable is repeated constantly, and it is so sticky. The human mind has a knack for recognizing and hearing patterns. It likes noticing things that repeat, and when they break off and go into something else, especially when it's so easy that the work just practically does itself. That's a huge psychological reason why music in general is just so fucking popular. Number 2 is hot buttons. These are like words that you hear and so many different things come to mind that can immediately relate, not just to your life situation, but to your life in general. These words are very simplistic and hold so much fucking weight. A lot of the most popular songs of all time will use words like these constantly. By the way, notice these are all like 1-syllable words. Feel, take, find, life, love, world, me, you, give, never, heart, dream, right, wrong, think, know, keep, lose, night and day. I want to see a producer sample that. I feel like that'd be really fucking cool. If nobody else does it, I'm gonna do it. Shit, there. That's 20 of them. Try using some of those. If you are a rapper or even a musician, these may sound superficial, but again, a lot of your favorite hooks from your favorite songs use these. They're kind of fucking unavoidable. They're kind of fucking part of the human experience. You can't live and die without having dealing with these words. And that's why you can use use them to sugarcoat and accompany your message. So you gotta pay attention. If you're talking about something you don't like throughout the song, then why the fuck would you use the word love in the hook? There's no reason to. And it's not that hard to figure these things out. Raindrop, drop top, something that rhymes with a drop top, you know, maybe something that's bothering you or making you feel awesome today, something about the weather or a colleague or customer or family member and their behavior, something that applies to everyone, something that can be turned into a meme and personalized as long as it includes your flow, your idea, your brand, and you somewhere in it. Everyone's talking about a drop top when they say that. Who the fuck is actually in a drop top? Migos, that's who. You need something that can be a meme. Memes are like the DNA of word of mouth media advertisement. They're like triggers for people to think of you that they can't avoid. You really do. If you're not a meme, you can't top the Billboard charts. If you're not a meme, shit, you can't even be president in this country. I don't like talking about my own music much in these videos, but I really do want you guys all to know that I do apply the knowledge that I drop, unless I specify otherwise. And I want to show that for the sake of trust, value, and authenticity. I would talk about anybody else's song like this, if I had to, but at the beginning of my song Jacket, you hear this Asian type of flute. It's very ethnic. I think it's called a shakuhachi. Then, all of a sudden, you hear a voice come in with this dark, reverb tail going, "Hey, bro!" It's the most random fucking thing, but it's silly. It's the first words you hear in the entire EP. And the longer you listen, the more perspective you gain, and when the beat finally drops, everything starts to make a little bit more sense. If you have trouble even figuring out where to start with all this shit, maybe try just listening to the beat and then really groove to it and see how it makes you feel. You can do this with any beat, by the way. I swear I have done this with some of the shittiest beats. I never say no to a feature on somebody else's song. So do that and get a grip on what you feel. Now keep that in mind. So you know how every sentence has like a main subject? Or everything has a sort of main idea, main topic? Every song with a catchy hook has a line at the end of it that best summarizes the whole thing? Or maybe the beginning, maybe one or two words that are very heavily repeated? I just came up with this now, but I like to call it the hook square. It's like the hook of the hook. Find the hook of the hook. It's usually the word or two or three that just ended up being the name of the song. Now back to the beat. Take that feeling that the beat gives you, give it a hook squared based on a quote or anything that you've heard throughout your life that makes you also feel that way. And you have yourself the beginning of a masterpiece hook. This shit is shit that people fucking pay like $10,000 for others to do. In my opinion, it's kind of stupid, funny, and fucked up, and also kind of smart in the way at the same time. Because you're delegating and saving yourself time as long as you can afford it. Number 3 is singing. Singing is easier on the ears. I also want to stress that your singing voice is better than you think. It's all a matter of confidence and learning about it as you practice it. You don't need to hit high notes and do all that technical shit. That's just a bonus if you can learn how. But honestly, you'd be surprised how many different things you could probably do with your voice. Speaking of which, you don't even need a good singing voice anymore. You just need a different one, because different is the new better. Actually, not even. It's been the new better for a long fucking time. To people like Eminem's singing voice, hey, I don't know. Those people are the only ones who really give a shit when they hear it in his songs. You know, until they get used to it and start to enjoy it. To people like Chance the Rapper's singing voice, maybe not, but that's just polarizing. And that's a good thing. For people who don't like it, his lyrics and flow might be enough to make up for it in a lot of cases. If you don't like your singing voice, look up on YouTube tips on singing, all about singing, or some bullshit like that. There are so many vocal coaches all over the place on YouTube with free lessons and shit. Educate yourself and invest time or invest money. But either way, you need to push yourself, you need to invest, and you need to fucking grow. Because if you don't grow, you're gonna shrink and you're gonna die like a little bitch. Now, what about pitch correction? I've heard that people like Ed Sheeran, Bruno Mars, and shit, even Beyonce, will use some degree of pitch correction in their songs to make up for the most microscopic details that aren't like 110,000% perfectly on pitch. I use a lot of pitch correction, but you know what else I do? I sing along to the finished version of the song with the intention of further emulating the sound of it with my natural singing voice. So when I sing it live, it almost sounds like I'm using pitch correction no matter what. And that's just my singing style. People seem to like my voice with pitch correction more than without it. And I don't use pitch correction to appeal to that, as much as the fact that I had already felt that way before they told me in the first place. I have a 3-minute almost rant on my Anchor station explaining how I approach singing and pitch correction. I'll link it in the description. It's not at all as dumbed down and simple as many people think. There's a lot of nuance to it. But if you want to be basic and add some straight up auto-tune to your voice, that's fine, especially if you have a unique voice, especially. It's even better if you can figure out how to use your own voice with it and they form like sort of a relationship with each other and kind of bounce their ideas off of each other. Pitch correction and your voice are kind of like a human to artificial intelligence relationship. Kanye has a unique voice, Travis Scott has a unique voice, Young Thug, Drake, Lil Wayne, and Future all have unique voices. You also have a unique voice. You're just searching for more means of building it and cultivating it for yourself. If you are shy about your singing voice, just practice alone. Nobody has to hear your shit until you're ready to show it to them. I've heard that the things you practice in private are the things that you will get rewarded for in public. And singing is fucking definitely one of those things. So if you're shy about your singing voice, just practice alone. If you can't practice alone, I want you to pause this video and go to the corner and practice where no one else is there. If you want some ideas, go check out Holistic Songwriting. I'll link some of the videos in the description. It's this really fucking smart guy or team, and they study and they analyze the undying fuck out of the most popular artists and songs of today. And then they come out with full-length videos on how their songs and melodies are structured. And they explain it in a way that's actually pretty easy to understand for the most part. You might get some really interesting insights and ideas. It's very informative stuff, and I highly recommend it. Again, I'll link it in the description. So those are my keys, my secrets to ultimate hook writing. What do you guys think? What am I missing? Please let me know in the comments. And also comment some of your favorite hooks. If you have any questions in general, please feel free to hit me up. There are links at the bottom of the description to all my social media platforms. Make sure to leave a like if you like it, subscribe if you haven't already. If you could turn on that little bell to get a notification every time that I drop a new video, that would mean the world to me. I appreciate you guys so much. You can find me everywhere, and I will see you then.